Good day everyone, so hope you're doing really well. Let us try and turn Kokomi into a bit of a raid boss using Xilonen and Kazuha and Farina as a support. This is going to be incredibly fun. Typically Kokomi is mostly used in modern Genshin for her support capabilities, but if you do happen to have a C6 Kokomi and you really like the character, you might want to try and see how far you can push the DPS. And let me tell you, when you start hitting 44k normals on Kokomi, it's getting there, and I think that's the most I've ever gotten for any character on my account. So here we are in the Abyss. We're just going to do the usual Farina things. Now the first set of mobs here are really nothing special. We can just quickly take them out with Farina, and then we can start setting up for the second wave of mobs right here. So you can see I'm just trying to group them as much as possible, because this is going to obviously help with Kokomi. And here you can see Kokomi is just doing an insane amount, 46k, 44k damage, and there you go. Main DPS Kokomi taking care of the enemies, although to be quite honest, the majority of the damage comes from Kokomi and Farina. It's kind of like a dual DPS situation, which is a style I prefer playing over and above the typical carry case where you'd have Arlecchino being buffed up the wazoo and then she does a ton of damage. But I think in cases like these where you've got one solid character with another solid character doing damage and having supports, it's a playstyle I like. It's not the fastest, it's not going to set speedrun world record speedruns and so on, but it is fun. It's just fun to just mess around and play with things. Alright, so let's go on to the second floor and see what we can do. I think the DPS should come out a bit more clearly against a single target boss. So here we are once again, and I'm going to do a bit of a quick animation cancel here with Farina. This is what you can do with C6 Farina. I'm going to try and group up these enemies, and we're just going to need to swirl again with Kazuha just to ensure that we get all of the rest rates onto all the enemies. So we've got Xilonen. Now we can trade that opponent's resistance, and here Kokomi is going to go. Let's see what we get. So with Kokomi C6 active, that's about 41. I'm seeing here 43, and there you go. The enemy is pretty much taken care of. A lot of this is also in part because we are buffing Farina like crazy. You can imagine Farina buffs herself, Xilonen shreds the opponent's resistance and buffs Farina, and Kazuha does it. It's just like buff impact at this point. So it really is kind of crazy. I think from my perspective, Kokomi has always been a character that, from a meta side, has always been dependent on different teams. So this is where you would run the classic Taser teams, which I have a feeling are going to get stronger in the future. I've just got a hint of that. And then you typically would run Kokomi with a main carry, for instance, like Ayaka, etc., etc. And obviously Nilo Bloom being her other signature team, and the like what do you call it, Mono Hydra being very, very good for Kokomi. If you haven't got Citroen, most people don't have Citroen, so Kokomi Mono Hydra is still very, very good. But now it does feel like with all of the amounts of supports that we've gotten here, you can play Kokomi if you've got her at C6 as a main DPS. Obviously with all of the level of buffs you're getting, her damage output is going to match a C0 character, and that's obviously by design. In any case, here is something that's incredibly annoying. I want to attack the enemy with Farina, but the auto-targeting in the game prioritizes these freaking... yeah, it's really annoying when Genshin doesn't give you control over what you want to do. It's just, when I recorded this, I was like, should I redo this? And I was like, nah, I want to point out just how you can get totally screwed over by the auto-targeting at some point. And then I noticed something, I don't know if you saw there with Nahida, she does this wink thing, and I was like, wait, what? And it was, if you just looked at her eyebrows, it's like, I never knew Nahida could do that. So yeah, once again, whenever I find these things, I'm just going to put them in the video for you to enjoy. But alright, so that is really it from my side. I think if you really are a die-hard Kokomi main, you've got Xilonen and a Farina or a Kazuha, or one or two or all three of them, you're going to have a good time. You'll be able to beat the Abyss very comfortably, and I'm curious as to know what would happen at C0 with Kokomi. Unfortunately, I can't turn off constellations, which is a thing where you totally can do, because they've got events where you can turn on constellations, so turning them off shouldn't be a big thing, but hey, it is what it is. Alright guys, that's it for the short video. Thank you so much for watching, and keep well. Cheers.